Miriam Hanane.
I'm an investigative journalist.
We're here asking people about the coronavirus and what they think.
I'm here in the Sinai Desert. Come with me as I investigate.
What does all your other work have to do with Google?
In 2018, we were getting 500,000 unique visitors, and we suddenly saw the traffic go down. I wonder if Google has any links to Big Pharma.
Thank you so much for this, Mary, especially this film, Vanishing in the Bees.
Do they know something we don't about GMOs?
There's a confusion and blaming just Monsanto when it's really we need to look at Bayer and Syngenta.
These poisons aren't just killing bees, they're also killing beings.
I'm saying that this is the virus that didn't cry wolf. Are you afraid of coronavirus?
No.
Graphene oxide, that's what got me killed on Twitter. Banned from Amazon, Instacart, Airbnb, Chase's bank account. She gets really deep into stories, those where everyone isn't willing to go.
Miriam, you have been hot on the trail of Charles Lieber since this case became public.
I'm not a prostitute or a parrot.
Do not let them turn you into lab rats.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Truth Lives Here. I am Miriam Hanane. I'm an investigative journalist and a functional medicine coach and consultant. And today I have the great pleasure of speaking with Brian Richards of SaunaSpace. I'm just going to lay the stage that I have wanted a sauna for a really long time as part of my own detox and self-care rituals. And when I came across many years ago, I think Brian was just introducing his SaunaSpace, and it's such a beautiful design. And I use it every day. I've carried it around even from home to States. It's part of my routine. I used SaunaSpace actively to detox. And I love it. So welcome, Brian. Where would you like to start? Maybe tell our audience who you are.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And how this beautiful SaunaSpace came to be, and then we can talk about how it's developed over the years. I forget now which year it was that you brought this to the market.
The company is 10 years old now, actually. So it's been 10 years.
Wow.
It started out with my own health journey, my own seeking a solution to my own issues. And I was recommended to detox, actually, to use sauna by my mom. She's a general practitioner, physician. She's always been doing natural wellness and alternative care as a physician. When I was growing up in Montana, even, she was recommending supplements, supplement and vitamins in the 80s in Montana. It was pretty avant-garde for that area back then. And so she recommended that, and I took her word seriously, because as I grew up, the other side of my parents was my dad, and he was a radiologist. And so I saw two very different types of healthcare growing up. One with my mom that was natural and seemed to address the root cause of things and was more cash based, and less insurance involved, but it seemed a lot more effective and logical and results oriented, I suppose. And on the radiology side of things, it's more the conventional model of the diagnose and treat sort of model. I saw that more as a revolving door where people would not necessarily get completely healthy. They just come back again and again for other things. So when my mom said, hey, detox is probably an issue with I was having insomnia and adrenal fatigue and had acne on me and on my back, and this was just like kind of low energy, and I felt like I shouldn't be that way. This was 10 years ago, so I was kind of out of my college career at that point. And so she recommended sauna, and I researched online and read about all the amazing benefits of sauna that are increasingly well understood. But at the end of my research, I found this little known concept called the electric light bath that I ended up making my own and using it, and it had this amazing healing story. And it inspired me to form the company because I wanted to bring this lost sauna technology back to market, where it was kind of used 120 years ago and then lost in time. And Yeah, it turns out, and then that was 10 years ago. So now I've been obsessing over making one thing right, for 10 years in terms of product design and building the brand and making it exquisite. So it's like handmade in the US and really beautiful and has some features in it that are important for sauna use and light therapy in general. And along the way, I learned a lot of things I didn't know about, like EMFs and light therapy, and why this technology is the best way to heat the body, and the difference between this type of light and other types of light therapy out there, and other types of sauna out there. So yeah, it's been a long journey of discovery and growth of the product, and also self-discovery and learning about the science, and kind of finding myself in all this.
So I would love to get into how SaunaSpace is superior and the differences in a traditional sauna and yours. I don't know if I have given you the ability to share the screen. I don't know. I didn't preface before if you have any images.
Yeah, we could show some things from the website.
Yeah, I'd love
I
to
guess
show.
probably could bring that up here real quick.
You
Yeah.
have share screen capabilities.
Yeah, so I can bring this over here and open up.
Because one of the things is the beautiful design, not to compare it to IKEA because it's way superior, but it's very clean. It's in its design, and it enabled me when I was suffering from mold in Los Angeles to take it from Airbnb to Airbnb and detox, and then schlep it to Florida and start my
Yeah, it's totally portable. That's a nice feature of it. People think that saunas are like big and heavy and built in, and many of them are. Or if they're portable, they're kind of cheap, I guess. Kind of like little plastic bag looking things. And
right.
so I wanted to bridge that gap and make it beautiful and organic, but still like functional. People want less things, and they want something, they can move from home to home with. So yeah, I can share my screen real quick and show you a few things. Let's see. So you can see this.
Yeah,
so this is the website, sauna.space, and these are the products. You can see it's a portable, it's this little luxury tent. It's a little one-person sauna, and it comes in different versions. We have an EMF shielded Faraday version, and the heart of the sauna is this portable light panel that comes in 3 and 4 bulb versions. And we also have our portable photon therapy light that's a targeted spot therapy device, and it's also used for vibing up like the internal space and correcting the light environment for technology fatigue and all that. But like, back to your original question, like, why did how does the technology work? I can show you here the spectrum. So in our learn pages, you can go and see here, this is the spectrum of the sun. So the sun's an incandescent light source, and it emits all these wavelengths under the curve. And I've highlighted in orange here the near infrared portion. Most of what the sun emits is near infrared. And it's about 43% spectrally near infrared. But in terms of what you absorb, when you stand out in the sun, 70% of the power you absorb is this near infrared portion. So the majority of our experience is of the sun is with near infrared light. So this light does many things in the body. All of it is like good and healing and beneficial. So we designed our bulb, which is incandescent, to sort of mimic the best parts of the sun's emission, which is near infrared. And so our bulb is producing light like the sun, which is natural full spectrum light in this nice gentle curve. And the peak of it is in this healing band of the sun called near infrared. There is some red, but it's mostly this near infrared that we don't see. And this is where we're getting light therapy and heat therapy very deeply into the body.
Yeah.
So
and it's what's on your face right now. So as you work, you have the light instead of looking at blue lights, right? Your
So that's an amazing feature of this light is that the blue light from our screens is stressful. It makes us irritable and it's frustrating, and it's what makes it hard to work at the computer, and it messes with our sleep, and it has a lot of issues, messes with hormones in the body. So the light that we create, this incandescent light that's in this firelight spectrum, let's call it cancels out the measurable amount of blue light and the flickering rate of these artificial light sources like screens and LEDs and fluorescent light bulbs. And it basically brings that outdoor spectrum indoors, and it makes the indoor environment, which from a light perspective is very artificial, it makes it more natural, and it makes it more enjoyable. So people use this, like I'm using it here, for technology fatigue and screen fatigue. It's a wonderful kind of secondary use. Classically, people use this for spot therapy. So any kind of local relief on the body, where the sauna, using the 3 and 4 bulb panels, or even more if you want, is as a full body sauna therapy. We're doing light therapy and sauna sweat therapy to the whole body.
When I go into it and I start with dry brushing personally, and now we can get into using it with methylene blue and how that benefits. I don't know which methylene blue you use. I offer it on Honey Colony, called it Be Blue, but it's starting to get to the mainstream. So familiar with Blue Eyes, which is John Laurent's eye drop formula. So even putting that in my eyes and then going into the sauna. Can you talk about, what is it, photomodulation? What is the technology or the term?
Yeah. So just to fully explain your last
please.
question, and then we can segue into photobiomodulation and methylene blue. Like with the incandescent light technology that we use, where it's mostly near infrared, we get the best of both worlds. We get photobiomodulation, which is a fancy word for light therapy. That means that's defined as the use of red and near infrared light to heal our cells and to optimize function of our cells. It happens in every cell of the body. Use red light and near infrared light to do that. But red light doesn't penetrate deeply. Near infrared light does the same thing, but it goes a lot deeper, like into the brain and into the deep organs of the body. So we're using the deeper penetrating and therefore more stimulating at all levels in all the organs and deep tissues of the body, the light therapy benefits. And then at the same time, there's some of the lower frequency near infrared that's absorbed by water that heats you from within. It's radiant heat. So at the same time that we're deeply doing light therapy, we're also producing radiant heat. We're heating you from within very efficiently. We're not using the air to heat you up. We're using actually light penetrating near infrared light itself to heat the body from within. So our technology we use, this incandescent technology, heats the body a lot faster because of the radiant light, and we're doing light therapy at the same time. So it's this two therapies in one that you get in a SaunaSpace. In the sauna, you get the light therapy and the heat therapy. And the heat therapy is something where it's really fast. You don't have to preheat the sauna. It just heats you immediately when you sit in front of these bulbs. So the sauna sessions are quicker and the sweating is faster. So it's essentially what's going on. But like that first piece, what is photobiomodulation? Like I said, we're using red and near infrared light to stimulate mitochondrial healing effects. We have mitochondria in every cell of the body.
Yeah.
So the red and the near infrared wavelengths, they hit a enzyme on the mitochondria called the cytochrome. It means cell of light. So it's a light receptor for red and near infrared wavelengths. And essentially it's this healing system in the body that's intelligent, that's designed to get near infrared light from the sun every day, or from these bulbs. You can also get it from LED light therapy panel sources.
Yeah.
Either which way, it's all about getting the wavelength, red or near infrared, and enough power level to promote the response. So light therapy is a fancy way of describing our experience that we get normally in the sun every day. This nutrient, the ultimate nutrient, more than any food that we could eat, is light from the sun, and the majority of the light from the sun is near infrared. So the majority nutrient we're getting is near infrared, and it doesn't just do light therapy like photobiomodulation, like stimulating mitochondrial healing effects. It also stimulates production of cellular melatonin, the body's number one antioxidant. It structures all the wavelengths of the sun, but particularly near infrared because they're going the deepest. They're structuring water in the body, so that makes water more bioavailable. That's activating and calibrating, every system of the body, including the myofascial, the fascial system of the body, where all the water is being used as a communication vector and like holding memory and doing a lot of things. The mitochondria has mostly structured water inside of it, so it's an experience that we used to get every day in the sun, and now we live indoors and we wear clothing when we're outside. We're not naked at all anymore, so we're really missing what we're biologically programmed to get,
Right.
which is a lot of near infrared light each day. And it has so many ways in which it keeps us healthy. It also gives us energy, like literally gives us energy. In the summer, when you're outside a lot and you're getting a lot of sunlight, you don't need to eat as much.
Right.
Yeah. So the bulbs that we do are designed to reproduce, to mimic the natural environment's near infrared light centric light experience.
So also another big benefit is that it allows you to stay in the parasympathetic. So you're sweating, but it's not like exercise where you're exerting yourself. It's passive and it's gentler if you are detoxing from, let's say, heavy metals, or in my case, mold. And so it's more gentle on the body, because if someone has heavy metal toxicity and let's say they chelate, it oftentimes, if you don't do it in a gentle manner, you can have a healing crisis. Whereas here you can detox, like in my case, I was using it with cholestyramine and binders to help maximize the whatever is detoxing, and take a shower afterwards. I personally use magnesium spray, or I use ketone, which we sell on Honey Colony, which is seawater, to replenish, because I assume that you can get depleted. Can you talk about the parasympathetic, the fact that it's not exerting on the body, and the benefits of detox?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great point. So light therapy itself, whatever source it is, but certainly with what we do and with the sun, it induces a parasympathetic state. So it relaxes the nervous system, gets it out of a stress state and a reactive state and back into a healing state where you rest, digest, repair, heal. And it's very important to be in this state to promote healing in the body. When the body is in a sympathetic state, a stressful state, all of the cellular systems are geared towards response to the environment. You're not doing any healing, and that can be very depleting very quickly.
Yeah.
Most of us nowadays in the modern lifestyle are kind of in that stress state too much all day long. And then at the end of the day, it affects our sleep and so forth. So sauna is amazing also, in addition to the light therapy. The sauna therapy, so the heat therapy, is amazing in promoting a parasympathetic nervous state, even though during the sauna session, it is a little bit of a sympathetic activity. Like you're increasing blood flow, you're raising heart rate, and you have that. But what's different between the sauna and the exercise, like a vigorous aerobic exercise, is you're infusing energy into the body, and you're getting all this energy input, but the body's not using it to run around and exercise. So instead, the body takes that extra energy and the heat and all goes to work at healing, at repairing itself. So you have a little bit of a sympathetic response in the sauna. The sauna is considered to be equivalent to like 100 kilowatt workout. So like It's like a light workout. You're actually burning calories when you just sit there and do nothing. But then right after the session, you always see a very strong HRV increase, a heart rate variability increase. And that's a big sign that the nervous system, goes and gets really relaxed, as a result of heating the body up really intensely and making it sweat out a pound of water and raise the core temperature a few degrees, like really strongly. And everybody reports that after a sauna session. The difference with us is when you introduce the light therapy into it, and you're using light to heat the body, and you're doing the photobiomodulation, the light therapy at the same time, it becomes a very, very zen-like, very like amplifying, elevating experience where you're not like fatigued and drained after the sauna session. You're energized and you're centered and you're grounded, and there's a joyful feeling that comes from that. That's how we feel like when we sit by the campfire or sit, next to the sun. We glow. We have an inner glow, and that there's a lot of things cellularly that are happening, but it's basically revitalizing, rejuvenating you, and giving you energy, and making your brain cells feel happier, and all that results in kind of a different sauna experience where you come out more zen, more centered, more yourself. So you're returning someone to themselves, and that's what we're doing with saunas. We're trying to remove these things in our body that aren't us, these toxins, these things that are obstacles and are challenges and are obstacles in our path to be ourselves.
And so what is your, do you know others that replenish with magnesium or with minerals like ketone after?
I use electrolytes. I take electrolytes every day. You can just take salt,
right?
A sea salt or red salt in water, and you don't have to buy fancy electrolytes. But either which way, replenishing the good minerals is really important after during this process of detoxing the heavy metals. So sauna's the most amazing way in the world to detox anything, heavy metals, pharmaceutical residues, really everything. Mold, toxins related to parasites and other things. But we want to replenish and replace the heavy metals with the correct minerals. So I recommend electrolytes, and to what you said about binders, that's also really important. There's a lot of binders you could take out there. I really like humic and fulvic acid, and it's kind of like there's this Cellcore brand that I really like. They have this carbon technology. Their binder technology is really cool. But clay-based binders.
I use Ultra Binder by Quicksilver that I
was just going to mention that. That's a great product.
It is a great product.
He has a push-catch approach where you take a detox promoting supplement, the liver sauce, and then you do the sauna, and then afterwards you take the binder that you just mentioned.
Away from food, folks. Preferably, sometimes also coconut water is great to replenish. What do you think of, to obviously your pores are open, you're sweating. And one thing that I wrestle with is washing my hair every single time, and I don't, but my scalp does sweat. I sweat from my head, and I wonder like I've sweated, and if I don't wash my hair, is it reabsorbing? Have you ever heard that question? Have you ever had someone ask?
That's a good question. Many people ask that who have long hair, basically men and women, and you can put it up in clip it up, or you can put it in like a hair towel. A lot of people actually don't wash it after each time. There's some issues with overwashing your hair, right? You don't want to necessarily do that too much.
I wash my hair every 4 days. I don't wash my hair.
So the concern though of reabsorbing the toxins is it's kind of like overblown. Like when you do sauna, you are heating up the core cells of the body, and you're promoting cellular detox at this deep cells of the body, and they're getting out and going to the lymphatic system and sweating out through the skin, or some of them are going, to the kidneys and the bowels. But those toxins that you sweat out that are on your scalp, they're now on the outside of your body. There is potentially some minimal amount of reabsorption that could occur, but it's not like they're going back into where they were in the deep regions of the cells of the body. I think it's really overblown. And if that's something that like dissuades you from doing the sauna multiple times a week, I'd say, just don't wash your hair every time. Just put it up and definitely don't worry about that.
Another question I have is I alternate between the sauna and coffee enemas, and my doctor, Dr. Bravo, who I've done 10 pass ozone with, she said, I don't want you to do both because it's too depleting on the body. So what I end up doing is like a week of sauna and then a week of, I only do one coffee enema now a week for kind of maintenance. Have you ever heard that, to not do both because it could be due to too depleting on the body?
I'm not a healthcare provider. Some of these things are very individual to each person.
Yes.
I do know that there are many people that do both simultaneously. Like we have customers who are doing both. I'm not exactly sure what their routine is, whether they're doing like you do, 1 week on, 1 week off. I personally don't do coffee enemas so much. I more just use the sauna and do other things. But it's a matter of, and all these things, like figuring out what's right for you. It's different in the supplement world, also in the sauna world. There's some people who can handle a lot more sauna more quickly.
Yeah.
And we actually offer a 7-bulb system now, so you can buy 4 bulbs and 3 bulbs, put them in the same sauna, and use 7 bulbs at once. It reduces the session duration like 14 minutes, so it's super fast. But for some people, that's like way too intense, and it's not for everybody. And
some people can handle the heat, and I when I'm working, I'm doing my coaching or consulting, try to see if they can gently increase the time and at least get in there, because you are in the parasympathetic and it is still providing benefits. But not everyone is like me, where they love the heat and just bring on the heat. So most people actually that I've run into like the seasons or the cold. So I ask them to just kind of work their way up so they can tolerate it, because it is an excellent way to passively, rather than going to do a severe hardcore detox chelation program. I want to so we talked to some of the benefits. I guess it's passively, you also lose weight because of the losing. I mean, toxins are fat soluble often, so they're in the fat and they come out. Mitochondrial function, help with sleep, help to minimize the pollution from the technology. What are some? Have I covered them all? Are those?
Well, there's definitely more. So de-stressing. We talked about relaxing the nervous system, but that translates to feeling more relaxed, like feeling less stress, like de-stressing, getting out of stuck sensations of anxiety and worry and fear and things like that. It's very that's something that's the light therapy and the sauna together. They're really powerful in promoting mental wellness, well-being. And I think that's a huge thing. The other side of that coin is mental performance. So when you do these things, when you do light therapy and you do sauna together, or even separately, you see improvement in your brain function. And that's like recall and decision making and like more performance related things like that, but also just mood and clarity and getting rid of brain fog. Where you're sitting there and trying to talk to someone and you just forget what you're talking about. That's not the normal human condition. That's heavy metals in the brain, and toxicity and de-optimized, degenerated cellular function. So you see your brain works better and it's healthier, and that makes you feel happier when you do these things routinely. I personally can attest to that. Like in the beginning, I didn't even know that I had what I feel like was brain fog. It was only later, after using the sauna for 6 months and doing this sauna therapy and this light therapy all routinely, did I realize, wow, I was a little foggy. I feel a lot sharper now and more clear and more present, more observational, and things. So those are really big benefits. There's also one of the main ones of sauna that should be clear for everybody is longevity. So Sauna's been shown to reduce your risk of dying of all things. So you live longer and you reduce your risk of dementia too. And those are in long-term human population studies now that are been published for a while. You basically live longer and your brain works better and you have less risk of having brain problems. And those are two key benefits that you actually only see with sauna in long-term population studies, even though there's amazing benefits to cold therapy and amazing benefits to so many other things that are out there. It's really unique to sauna, those two things. So you live longer and your brain works better. And this era of where people are getting like early onset Alzheimer's disease and a lot of mental health issues, that's really exciting to see that it's such a simple therapy. You sit there and you do nothing, you just sweat, you get these things going on. So there's those things. Also in this era of public health crisis kind of stuff, related to the pandemic or however you want to look at it. I think people in their minds, though, they're thinking a lot about immunity and immune function and how to avoid compromised immunity. So sauna induces a artificial fever state. And that's what your body does when it's creating a fever. It's responding to a pathogenic infection that you have in your inside you, and it's heating itself up and it's creating the heat shock protein response that helps detox and helps repair and cleanse.
To say that a fever is a good thing, we weaponize the fever, but it's actually your body doing the right thing. Just like coughing is your body trying to detox and get things out of its system, and yet we've weaponized these things to be bad. When that is
right. Yeah, like that's sort of the more conventional approach is suppress the fever and suppress the cough. But we do see if we understand that those are natural immune responses, how can we support them without them getting too much of a cough, or you don't want too much irritation when you're coughing and stuff. But yes, the fever state is a powerful way to respond to a current infection, but also to keep yourself healthy and keep yourself what sauna does, and light therapy too, is they do what's called immune modulation. So they make your immune system, they condition it and reprogram it to work better. It's like tempering a sword. So you use sauna routinely and you're less likely to get sick. And if you do get sick, you're less likely to the severity of your symptoms is reduced.
Before I had a sauna, whenever I would get sick, I would go find a sauna and just chug the water, take some herbs and sweat it out. And 9 out of 10 times I feel better by the next day. But I find it's important to educate people that these body responses are natural. When I had mold, and I was in a moldy environment, I had a low-grade fever for 60 days straight. And it was my body trying to detox. It was alerting me that something in the environment, as someone who's so sensitive and has multiple chemical sensitivities. So I really feel that detox is a key component that is overlooked. And unfortunately, because we live in such a toxic world, something like a sauna is, I believe, just a life-saving tool. What I like also, and I want to mention to the audience, is these are not cheap, because it's a lot of work that goes into that. But I remember I was very, if you remember, vocal on like trying to get something like a payment plan. And then suddenly this becomes affordable because you can do it over time and get your sauna and start healing immediately. I'm going to just show you. My sauna is behind here. Show the audience if you can see it. Let's see. Maybe.
Yeah, there it is.
There's my sauna.
Cool. So cool.
So, when I'm pretty new in Florida, but when I have had friends or someone comes over, they're like, "What's that? What is that little tent?" I'm like, "That's my sauna. That's my SaunaSpace." And it's come with me, and it's been a real lifesaver to me, from detoxing from mold. Can we talk about maybe some testimonials that you've heard in regards to someone using your SaunaSpace, as far as like heavy metals, or if you know other mold stories?
Mold stories, yeah, there's a lot of them. You can actually go to our website and go to the product pages, and you could search in reviews.
Nice.
A mold detox is pretty common nowadays, like people looking for a mold, or being in a situation of wanting to detox from mold. It's really widespread. It's just like heavy metals. It's like
Totally.
all of us have probably a need to do a major heavy metal detox. So you can see some of those on the website. There was one that I wanted to read that we had. I think we just posted it on our Instagram recently.
Okay,
Let me
yeah,
see if I
by
can
all
bring it up.
means.
It's really sweet. Yeah, we just put this on our Instagram. So
While you're looking for it,
I
also,
have
if
it.
you recall, when I was living in Los Angeles, Sexy Tony, my cat, that I no longer have, would come in the sauna with me. And so I'm sure you have pets that just naturally gravitate to the red light therapy. I see your screen.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Pets benefit from this just like humans, and people will definitely take their beloved pets in there, and even if people have service animals, they take them in as well. And often the pets love the light, like the cats and dogs. Just when you have a photon light in the living room, they all love it just as much as we do, for sure. They have less ego too. They're all about just using it and not worrying about anything else. Yeah, this is just a really sweet
Can you read it, Brian?
testimonial. Yeah, I'll read it out. So for most of my young 20s, I suffered with a chronic illness that completely took me out of the game of life. Food as medicine, healing herbs, and healing tools like my SaunaSpace, which my awesome mother gifted me in the depths of my chronic illness journey, helped me to reclaim not only my health and wellness, but my entire life. Should be, right here. Morning spent meditating in the sauna, learning and cultivating nervous system regulation techniques, and amplifying my body's detoxification processes are some of the many things I used this product for to reclaim my health. Thanks to the results I've seen in my own healing journey after healing over 35 symptoms holistically, sharing the magnificence of SaunaSpace and how instrumental it was in my process comes with ease for me. So that was really sweet.
Yeah.
There's so many of those like that where it's people nowadays, they don't just, it's so common that we don't just have one problem, like, oh, I need a detox from mold. It's usually an array of issues that people have. And what's lovely about sauna and SaunaSpace and light therapy and doing these two things together is there, regardless of your profile or where you're coming from, you're going to see benefit. You're going to see improvement if you just take it seriously and use it. And often for people, there's like some people who are doing all these things and they can't quite get over the hump.
Yeah.
And this will take them over the hump. And then there's other people who are not really doing anything. They don't have the energy or the awareness or whatever to do anything. And they're stuck in their sort of their symptoms and what they're dealing with. And when they start using SaunaSpace, it gives them the energy and the strength to start realizing and seeing and changing other things in their life, like diet and how they're sleeping and all these other lifestyle choices that are so important and also are contributing to whether we're well or not.
What do you think of doing it in the morning versus the night? I have an Oura ring. It's not on anymore, but I would notice when I would do it, it would increase my deep sleep, and I would alternate between sometimes doing it in the morning, sometimes doing it before bed. Of course, it's personal.
Yeah.
But what's your feelings on that?
Well, I was using it before bed.
Yeah.
When I first started 10 years ago, and I had some insomnia type stuff that I felt it was really calming to my mind. And of course it was to my nervous system and put me into that preparation for sleep state really well. So I was using it right before bed. Once I kind of got removed the obstacles that were preventing me from being healthy and well and being myself. I started to use it more in the morning, honestly, to really like set the tone for the day. So it's energizing, it's grounding, it wakes you up, it gives you that mental zip kind of, and just energetically kind of, and emotionally, it's very centering. So I love it in the morning. I find my day is just more productive and more lovely in the afterglow of using the sauna in the morning. So it's really, whether you use it, regardless of when you use it in the day, it's going to improve your sleep score. So it doesn't have to be like right before bed. Routine morning use will positively affect and promote more quality sleep. We definitely see that. It's more about fitting into your routine. Some people who are really intense workout people like to use it right after their workout. So that's sometimes in the evening, after work, go to the gym and then come home and use the sauna as like the last thing. But it's really whatever gets you to using it 3 times a week is all that matters.
I also, at one point, was living in San Francisco, which was freezing for me. And so I would go and like have like some quiet time. I also didn't have my own space at that time. So I would use the sauna and like do I'm sure you don't recommend bringing a phone in there, but I would go and listen to a podcast, meditate, just kind of get myself together and warm my body up and start my day in that regard. I want to talk a little bit more about the methylene blue. When I went to do a 10 pass with my doctor of ozone, she also did an intravenous, and she put a panel as it was going into my body. What is the synergistic effect of this blue, methylene blue, in conjunction? Like, I know we talked about the photomodulation, but what exactly is, I mean, have you used methylene blue personally with the infrared?
Yeah, absolutely. So it basically, methylene blue is an anti-parasite, and it also increases antibacterial, sort of anti-pathogenic, and it also upregulates mitochondrial function. So it makes the mitochondria work faster and better. What's intriguing is that it's photo activated by near infrared light. So the methylene blue upregulates 3 out of the 4 proteins in the mitochondrial energy production system. And near infrared light activates the 4th one, which is the cytochrome, the light receptor enzyme. So when you use methylene blue and near infrared light exposure into the cell at the same time, you get kind of like a full activation of the mitochondria, where one or the other is a little bit less, let's just say. So people take methylene blue usually a half hour before using the sauna or getting out in the sun. So you want to, if you take oral methylene blue, I should say it, 20 minutes or so it takes for it to be digested and hit the cells. And then when you use the sauna, it photoactivates the methylene blue and makes it more effective in its function of activating the mitochondria and the other things that it's doing. You can also do that in the sun as well. Sure. If you can take it, people do IVs, and there's also suppositories that you can take too, but the oral, I think, is the easiest.
That's what I offer, an oral one.
I do like Dr. Laurence's product because it's pharmaceutical grade. So that's just, there's the chemical grade. People should understand there's chemical grade out there that's not as controlled for heavy metals as pharmaceutical grade. So if it's pharmaceutical grade, it's usually the best in terms of being tested for heavy metals. And we actually recommend his, and we sell his with our products. Some people buy it. It is certainly, you can get it from you. It's a kind of a widely available thing, but pharmaceutical grade is the best. And he is recommending he has a new product, Blue Eyes, which is essentially,
that's what I'm using.
It's in a dropper. It's cool too. It's with EDTA and mint together.
It has EDTA?
Yeah, it has EDTA in there
in the drops. Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. So I started trying that out too, with the idea that you drop it in your eyes, you have it cellularly absorbed, and then you get the near infrared light exposure immediately to activate it. So a lot of people are doing that. It's an old age-old remedy. It's the world's first drug. It was invented in
1800s,
the late 1800s. Yeah,
Wow.
very, very old, very well tested, been around for a long time. It does make you pee blue, which is a little weird, but I don't use it routinely. I use it when I travel.
Yeah.
And if I ever have any kind of symptom, if I get symptomatic at all, I start taking it. It's something that you have to cycle off of. But yeah, it's really cool to combine it with the sauna or with the sun to photoactivate it. So that's kind of what's going on with methylene blue. It's kind of something to have in the toolbox for whenever you get confronted with pathogens, or you get sick, or you're traveling a lot like that, just like EDTA, which frankly I've learned more recently with Dr. Artis. Dr. Artis is working from the Healing for the Ages conference. That's excellent. There's some modern tools here that are really powerful and safe to keep us healthy and keep us from getting too symptomatic and in terms of infectious disease. I think that are really important. EDTA is such a huge one, and methylene blue. So you should just have it with you.
I use detoxamine, and I don't offer it yet unless people personally get in touch with me. But detoxamine is glutathione with EDTA, and it's showing to be really a key in detoxing from the jib jabs or heavy metals. I saw Mercola at an event a couple of weeks ago, and it's a broad spectrum antibacterial, so it doesn't know how to discern between pathogenic and beneficial. So he did tell me you have to take it, like you said, cycle off, but not to overdo it. So I assume if you use the blue eyes, where it's going into it's always obviously going into the bloodstream through the eyes, that might be a controlled way, or to just cycle on and off. Mine is pharmaceutical grade, it's oral, and but just for people to be mindful, I say to work with someone who can monitor you and make sure that you're not overdoing it.
Absolutely. It's very individual. It's just like any supplement. You want to work with, it's just really helpful. Even those of us who are like really well aware, and we're doing a lot of research, and we're sort of high information. It's so beneficial to have a trusted third party help you along and look at you from the outside and say, absolutely, I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that. And there's different ways to assess that. But methylene blue is a powerful sort of anti-pathogen, anti-parasitic thing that if I need it, I go to it,
It's important to have your own first aid kit, I believe. So I want to transition and talk about Dr. Artis. And I am a big fan of Dr. Artis and his genius. And just to share the audience that before I came across Dr. Artis, it was, I guess, September 2020, my own uncle died of remdesivir and a ventilator combo. And then I came across Dr. Artis. And so how did you guys meet, and how did he come to know? I guess it was at the conference you were exhibiting as well.
No, I saw him in he did a webinar with a lady named Maria Chrysler. She has a brand called Abetu Natural, and she has some cool products that she's developed in the wellness industry. But she also is kind of a informal parasitologist. She and Dr. Artis were talking about parasites, and Dr. Artis, of course, talked about some of the new genetically engineered plasmids and some of the modern like bioweapons that we're seeing. They talked about rope worms, which is really interesting. Genetically engineered parasites. So I saw him on that, and he was inviting people on that. He said, hey, we're having the Healing for the Ages conference. And I was really intrigued by that, since I'm based here in Dallas currently, and it was in Dallas. So I ended up going to it, and I didn't meet him there, but I saw the conference was amazing. It was very, very illuminating about all the things that are going on. also a lot of remedies that were
Yeah.
fascinating. Bee pollen being one of them. That was so like there were so many cheers going on about bee pollen and EDTA and some other things. So it was really fascinating. For me, it was a great learning experience. So they were so busy there that I didn't want to bother him, but I ended up being introduced to him via a friend, basically, because
Okay.
Dr. Artis is based in Dallas as well.
Oh,
So I ended up meeting him, and yeah, he recently got one of the SaunaSpace products and was using it and loves it. His wife's using it, and I did a recording with him recently, so that hopefully that's coming out soon. But yeah, he's such a not just brilliant, but really inspirational. He's talking about things from a research perspective and an informed perspective, not from an egotistical perspective. And what he's saying is not outlandish. It's kind of hard to maybe swallow in the beginning.
It's complex.
It's complex, it is. It's multifactorial, but he's really onto something that, and he's speaking to a subject and exploring a mystery that before him, I had not met anybody else talking about that. And he's bringing so much light to the issue. And for me, it brings so much clarity to, what we went through in the pandemic and why people are having the symptoms they're having and also what to do about it. So he's a really inspirational guy. He really practices what he preaches, and he's also really nice. And so just really grateful to know him and to have him trying out the products and all that, and meeting him and his wife as well. So he's definitely a force of good and a force of nature too. I really support him. His conference. Were you at that conference?
I was, and my friend Courtney was there, and a lot of my colleagues were there, but I did not.
The conference just had a lot of great energy, great people, and I loved how the four doctors were hosting it were just really unified in the message. There was a lot of Q&A. It was a very interactive conference. It was so cool to see that, so refreshing. Some of these conferences are getting just a little bit stale, maybe a little bit more corporate. The audience was invigorated. Everything was amazing. So that's kind of been my experience with him so far. It's been great.
Yeah, I've interviewed him several times, and I'm a big fan. And I think it takes a lot of courage to put this out there, his discoveries. But to me, they make so much sense. And when you learn about the nicotinamide receptors and the role of nicotine, and it just resonates. Probably you may not know the answer to this, but ropeworms, I don't know if you know Mimosa pudica.
Yeah. I've been taking it, actually.
You take it?
Well, you asked me about what I've been using the sauna for 10 years. I've been detoxing for 10 years. So what have I been doing lately? And it's a parasite cleanse, and Mimosa pudica is one of the things that I'm taking, but I've been doing a parasite cleanse every day now for 4 months.
Okay.
And I've
what are you taking? Because I took nicotinamide, and then I interviewed Dr. Merritt, and I was doing it straight for a month. Personally, it ran my immune system to the ground. And then when I interviewed Dr. Merritt, she explained the on and off of rotating. And recently, along with the coffee enemas, then after, when I take my binders, I take the Mimosa pudica. And I was wondering if it's something in the Mimosa pudica that causes these, what look like rope, these long, I'm like, where is this coming from? Because I'll do the enema, do the binders, and then the next day, are those ropeworms? Those big long.
Well, it's
sorry for the TMI for people.
Well, it's very interesting though. It's still to be explored, but to basically explain it to your audience, it's a type of parasite that's only been seen. The first time it was clinically published about was 2007 or 8. So we're talking about a genre of parasite that has never been seen before prior to 20 years ago. It's brand new. It doesn't have any reproductive organs.
Oh, wow.
And so it
We're
doesn't
talking about the
reproduce.
same things, right? These
We're talking about ropeworms. Yeah.
are they,
They-
that's these long things that,
yeah,
oh my God, this is
they
my
have
body.
five. You can look this up actually online. There's a couple papers on it. So if you just search
love-
ropeworm, they have 5 different stages of life, and they start out looking like mucus and slime, and they eventually evolve to be like these
Okay.
big
Yeah, I want to
worm-looking parasites that in the 5th stage, in the adult state, they actually suck your blood, so they latch onto the inside of your intestinal wall lining, and they start drinking your blood. And they're what's they don't look like regular worms. So a ropeworm, a regular like a
rope.
tapeworm or a a tapeworm or they're just the organic
Yeah.
worm parasites. They have a very symmetrical, consistent look to them. The ropeworms can be asymmetrical. They kind of look like aliens. They look more tentacly and they're really bizarre looking.
Yeah.
And what's bothersome about them is they don't have any known taxonomy, and they don't have reproductive organs, and they're produced from bacterial plasmids. So they're coming from slime.
Yeah.
And then
Can I say something? Sorry, again, not to be, I know with my friends, we exchange photos, but I was thinking, is something in the Mimosa pudica in the capsule causing this to be fibrous? But what I was seeing is I do see a lot of mucus, and I thought I'm busting the biofilm, but maybe those are the way they begin. And then after doing the enemas and taking mimosa and going, oh my God, this is coming out of my body. What is this? Like, there's no way that it's actually in the capsule, like mixture with water.
Right. No, it's not that. The Mimosa pudica, it's like a gut grabber. It's a detoxifier, and it sticks to the parasites and clings to them and helps pass them, but it also kills them. So the truth is, I suspect anyway, those are the things that are in the gut, and they're organic parasites, and then there are these newer synthetic, genetically engineered parasites we call ropeworms that look different ways, but all that stuff is in the body. And when you do a sustained parasite cleanse, like many people have done now, not just me,
right,
you see things come out over time
like,
that are crazy, and
right,
and they're very different. Like the more you get into it, you're like, the more susceptible, smaller, younger parasites come out first, and the older, like granddaddy ones that have been, some people have worms they've had for 10 years or even more, longer, and they have these huge thick biofilms that take not just weeks but even months to break down. So some people are doing 3 weeks on, cycling a week off. Some people are just doing a week. I determined for myself that just doing a week, 1 week a month, wasn't nearly enough. I wanted to like really get back to the beginning of what was going on, and I started seeing ropeworms in the 3rd month. So I didn't see any of that in the beginning, and then all of a sudden I started seeing them, and it was really quite shocking. It's
right, it is.
You feel a lot spiritually lighter, I guess I would say, afterwards.
I guess it's important to keep going. Like, I'm only doing once a week, but I'm doing the mimosa with the ultra binder after after an enema, and then
Mimosa pudica, that's like very well known. Everybody who's doing a parasite cleanse, that's a go-to, really reliable, really safe. It's usually taken on an empty stomach.
Yeah.
So it has time to like cling to things. That's one thing I'm mostly taking the Cellcore products right now. So Para 1 is Mimosa pudica. Para 2 is like whatever's in the Para 2. I could grab it and show you. And then they have a couple different levels of binders. They're HMET binders, so it's a really powerful binder. So I take that, and then I take everyday humic and fulvic acid.
You just take a sip?
It's like a black powder, and you just scoop that in a little water and mix that with some drops of herbs and use that to drink the capsules that you're taking. So humic and fulvic acid is it's a really interesting supplement. I don't know if you've talked about that or much about that.
I haven't, but I offer it. I've been offering it since.
Very fascinating. It's not just for parasite cleansing, for detox. It increases nutrient absorption. It helps with gut inflammation. It helps your body absorb whatever you've just eaten. the food, and it helps with leaky gut and so many other things. It's really has a pretty wide range of benefits, and I've been taking that basically every day too. So
Yeah, I
wow.
offer Humineral as fulvic and humic acid from the beginning. I offer zeolite too. There's a camp that believes that all the zeolite is full of heavy metals. The one that I use has been tested to not have heavy metals, but that's also integral in detoxing and grabbing on to things. I wonder with the rope worms, like again, it's like shocking. It's like, oh my God, this is in my
Yeah.
body.
Well, and parasites use heavy metals to hide from the immune system.
Isn't that amazing? They eat and thrive on
They
heavy
eat and they
metals.
thrive on that.
Amazing.
And
Amazing.
so yeah, any parasite cleanse entails a release of a fair amount of heavy metals. So what you said is so essential, like taking zeolite. There's different brands. I like the TRS brand, but there's other brands too, that are out there. It's this idea of taking something that every day you're binding heavy metals. It's the saunas, incredible and helpful, but also these binders, whether it's zeolite or something else, to every day be reducing your heavy metal load, especially when you're doing a parasite cleanse, because they're releasing a lot. And when you have big parasites like worms, when those die, they release secondary
toxins,
parasites.
Totally. Or
they have their own yeast and bacteria and mold that come out of them, and you deal with the die-off symptoms of that, and a lot of heavy metals are coming out. So the sauna is amazing for that. And what you just mentioned also too, addressing, for me, like I was using the sauna for many years, but I wasn't really taking so much in the way of binders. So in the last year, I've been taking zeolite actually for about 8 months now, or 7 months. And I was talking to you about my hair. My hair is like healthier and curlier, and it's some kind of combination of the parasite cleanse and the zeolite and some other stuff, and maybe some of the supplements I'm taking. So there's always a need to do heavy metal detox, like basically constantly. And then the parasite cleanse, it's really fascinating, really disturbing.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, well, like, yes, you start sharing
There's liver
pictures with your
flukes
friends
too that you can pass.
Yeah. And you have them and most people don't know that you have this in everywhere in the body. They're not just like in your gut. They can be in every organ, spleen, heart, in your brain. They're in the blood, they're in the flesh, they're in the joints.
And they hide behind the mucus. They create biofilm.
Yeah.
And so if someone thinks that, oh, I'm going to take antibiotics for something, and then they hide, and then you have the infection or the symptoms. Like I had someone contact me because they wanted my silver rash block. And I'm like, what's going on? And of course, the doctors put her on prednisone, and then causes secondary side effects. And she said something like, now it's on my thigh. And I'm like, you have parasites. If it's moving, you have parasites. This is not going to be treated with prednisone. And sure, you could put rash block and topically, but you have to get to the root. And she was so happy. And I'm like, I don't think it's an accident that we spoke. And it really resonated with her. But then, it takes, you plant the seeds and people are not ready to, or detoxing is an education. And that's why I focus on it and harp on it, because I really think it's a missing link in vitality and health, and having done also ozone after an enema, after a sauna, and just combining these different detox modalities.
Yeah, sauna is so, or detox is so essential, and detox and self-care in general is an investment. Totally. Not just a money investment, like a time investment. Yeah. And it takes time to get back to yourself and to cleanse and all that, but it's so worth it to be yourself and be thriving, to be optimized, to feel good.
Absolutely.
It's something where I look at the sauna now, when I go to use it, it's enjoyable. I want to get in there. I'm going to feel good during the session. I'm going to feel good after. And all of this detox and cleansing, you slowly, you don't notice maybe day to day. That's why it's important to journal and record things so you can look back and see, wow, I've really actually come really far in my healing journey, to my return to self, that it comes from detox. Yeah, I'm so glad you're harping on detox and talking about detox, because it is an essential way to keep healthy in this crazy world.
Yeah, when I tell people I'm 50, I've reversed lupus. I've learned how to walk again after being smacked down a car and dragged 50 feet. And I don't know where I would be without the sauna, without coffee enemas personally. So that's why I'm such a fan of SaunaSpace. Let's just talk a little bit more about the different iterations of the SaunaSpace. I don't know if it was at the couple of years ago at the in Orlando, I think, at the biohacking, Dave Asprey's biohacking event, that I saw, oh my God, you have a tent now that's the fabric is woven in with turmeric, and you have another one that's, you mentioned it earlier, with EMF. So what are some of the upgrades as you've developed over the past decade?
Yeah, the product started out very simple and didn't have a stool and didn't have a grounding mat, or wasn't organic, and all these things. But now the products that we handcraft in Missouri, in the USA, and we offer provide like all different kinds of solutions for people. So we sell the panels themselves for people who want to upgrade a cabinet sauna, or want to do it yourself, their own like closet space or other sauna space. You can make any space into a sauna space that way. We offer 3 and 4 bulb versions. Some people are actually combining both of those into 7 and 8 bulb systems for one sauna, for like a super powered sauna. And then with our saunas themselves, they use our panels, and they come in this beautiful organic handmade enclosure that's portable and very lightweight, and includes a grounding mat that has, it's like organic bamboo, but underneath it is grounded material that's grounded to the light panel, so it's actually grounding you.
Yeah.
And in our base model, that's the grounding mat itself and the shielded light panel that is heating you and providing the light therapy. And we have an upgraded sauna model called the Faraday that has a organic silver based liner that the whole sauna is wrapped in. It's an extra liner layer that's added in, and it's in the curtain too. So it creates a grounded Faraday cage that the user sits in.
Yeah.
And it's a really special offering. It is it is an upgrade that costs more because there's so much silver in it. But what's so amazing about it is you sit inside, it's like 35% silver, the fabric, but the fabric blocks out all of the cell phone, all the 5G, all the Wi-Fi and stuff. So when you're sitting inside, you're really in like a pre-technology space. The base model has the grounding, which protects you from the wired EMF, but the Faraday with the EMF shield liner protects you from all the wireless man-made EMF that's around you. And it puts you into a maximally parasympathetic state. There's no electrosmog on you. It's uniquely meditative in there, and very zen, very, very unique experience.
Can you upgrade if you have like one of mine? Can I get the
yeah it's essentially, it's just the EMF shield upgrade. So you just get the liner and a replacement sauna curtain that has the shielding material in it. So you're creating this hidden silver liner that is an upgrade to the sauna that you have. Everybody, you could just start out with the base model and get the Faraday upgrade later, or you can just get it at the beginning. So that's an optional upgrade that
it's important to tell people also that a traditional hard sauna a lot of times is full of EMFs. And right, isn't that true that there's radiation?
A lot of them are not shielding. There's many, I can't speak for all of them, but for ours, we electromagnetically we shield the electric field and magnetic field that's in the wiring of the product, and there's different ways to do that. And that we also shield the guard itself, the lamp cage that's stainless steel that protects the user from touching the hot bulb. It also is grounded and prevents electric field from coming out of the filament, out of the bulb itself. And so, a lot of saunas have they're not doing anything like that. So you're sitting in the sauna trying to heal, and you have a lot of man-made voltage stress on the body that's unnecessary. And it's not like it's ruining it, but it's limiting it. It's introducing a stress variable that ideally you don't want in the sauna. So our products are all EMF shielded, even our portable photon therapy light. Everything's shielded. It's all portable. It comes with a beautiful handmade stool that you sit on. That's part of the sauna package.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
And then yeah, the portable therapy light, the one light bulb, which is our photon light. You can use that on the go anywhere. Use it for spot therapy. Use it for environmental light therapy, like vibing up the space, and kind of using it for anything you do, whether you're doing yoga or doing some meditation or just chilling and reading. You have that light next to you. It's like a little happy light.
I purchased, in acupuncture, sometimes when you're being treated, they have the infrared, and I purchased like a standalone, kind of also for mood in the, if I have guests over, that the lighting is better. Then I noticed that the bulb is like, it's just painted red. And I'm like, oh, this is not the same quality as the SaunaSpace, not knowing that there's like faux infrared lights. Like, I don't know. It wasn't cheap. It wasn't super expensive, but I wonder whether I'm getting any benefits. It feels great. Because I tore my meniscus, so I was putting it on the meniscus. This is before I got my sauna back. So I would assume that the quality is not across the board, right? Not all bulbs.
Yeah, well, that's something that we've always done from day one. We've always been handmade and of the highest quality. We're not the cheapest product, but
no,
everything we do is
quality.
Purpose designing. It's quality, and it's the form and the function together. So the form is the beautiful materials, and they're all hand worked and handmade and organic, but also function. Our light bulb is specifically designed to maximize the light therapy and the heat therapy output of the filament itself, and it's handmade stained glass, so it's looking good, but it's also designed to be more therapeutically effective than the incandescent bulb of old, what's more widely available out there. So it's like it's all good. There's all good. All these saunas are good. We're all good, and all the light therapy out there, it's all good. It's all activating and helping people understand that they're already perfect, and they have these intelligent systems in the body that are amazing. And these are just helping to support you and empower you to do your own healing within. What we do is, it's all about quality first in everything we do, and the customer experience reflects that, from us being based in the US and having in-house lifetime customer support to it being handmade here. And everything,
I personally think that's very important. I mean, I want to do business with companies that are employing people in America, making things in America. And so I personally value that very much.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we're very intentional about what we do. We're all handmade here in the US, and everything we make is very lovingly handmade.
And how about just tell me a little bit of the turmeric, the one?
Oh yeah, so that was just kind of some fun. We wanted to do one color that was fun. They're all organic. We have 4 or 5 colors, but the turmeric is actually hand dyed ayurvedically with organic turmeric spice. So Ayurveda is the Ayurvedic science of medicinal dyeing of fabrics for health benefits. It's called Ayurveda. And so there's a ritualistic way they dye the threads with turmeric spice. Wow. in a very old school way, in barrels and water, and then they dry the threads on tree limbs, and then they weave it into the fabric that we use. And it's each thread is a little different color, so it has this beautiful variegated look, and you're surrounded by the anti-inflammatory powers of turmeric, and just the look of it's really exquisite. So it's very special. That it's a little more higher cost, so is what it is, but there's so much love in the making of that color, that's actually dyed with turmeric spice in this ancient Ayurvedic way. It's really special. So
yeah, it's beautiful.
that's the story behind that. It took like 2 years to figure it out right. It wasn't working very well in the beginning. It took a lot of testing to get it done because our fabrics, you know,
A lot of
7 feet,
stained
6 feet
hands.
wide. A
Wow.
lot of testing to get the color right and the weave right. And this is all, you know, organically grown and woven in India. So a lot of testing, you know, to get it to work right. But it was totally worth it. It's a really pretty product.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. So anything else that I've overlooked? Where can people find you? I'll be offering the links and where they can check out SaunaSpace for sure.
Yeah, everything's on sauna.space. We have a really nice learn center. If you like the research, we have an archive, research archive at the bottom of the website. I've organized the research papers that are out, some of them that are out there by topic, so you can kind of explore topics relevant to you. And yeah, our website is sauna.space on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok and so forth, and Facebook. We're SaunaSpace, so our handle is at SaunaSpace. We have a lot of awesome content on there, a lot of explanatory stuff on Instagram and so forth. So you can find us on social at SaunaSpace and our website sauna.space. You can call us and chat with us. We have live customer support like every day during the week.
Nice,
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for your time. And yeah, I will put links for the audience. I've written on Honey Colony on SaunaSpace and some of the many benefits. And yeah, I'll be sharing with you when this episode comes out.
Wow, thank you so much for having me. I'm really
Thank you,
grateful.
Brian. It's nice
This was
to
really
see you.
fun.
I haven't seen you in a while.
So great to see you again too.
Thank you.